Hey guys, what's going on? It's Brandon. So, we've explored all the possibilities, or have we? Is there yet another possibility that we have not yet explored? Well, what if instead, and I'm just going to throw this out there, it is the last possibility, because we're approaching everything through logic, right? So what if the last possibility about this Grand Sport situation is that turbo motor that you've seen, with the port injection, supposedly, according to Eddie X, that is the Grand Sport. You say, well, then what would the zr1 be? An engine similar to that with double direct injection, which means then it could rev up super high because you can shrink down the injection times to be able to match up with the super high revs. Okay? So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but since I've explored all the other logical possibilities, may as well mention it, okay? So let's run down through the other logical possibilities of what's going on. The other logical possibilities are that General Motors has created a Frankenstein car where they're showing off the upcoming zr1 motor and they're putting it in the Grand Sport so that Taj gets his day in front of his crown jewel motor before he retires, and he can say he played a trick on the world, the same way that Zora originally played a trick on the GM engineers, or GM executives, I should say. So, what if, okay, well, anyway, to continue on that, they could have one or two other Grand Sport motors that have not yet been revealed that are both cross-plane crank. One would be like the lt3, and the other one would be the lt3 turbo. Okay, or you just have the lt2 for now, and the lt3 comes out later, and maybe the lt3 turbo comes out later. But let's just call a spade a spade. General Motors has these motors built. They're ready to go. They're just sitting on a shelf. Now, the one thing that I hesitated to tell everybody was, you know, let's approach this really logically for a moment. And I'm aware the other YouTubers can't do this. The other group moderators can't do this. Koa, Nayujin, he can't do this. None of these guys can do this, okay? It's a shame. They're all supposed to be Corvette guys, but they're not. They can't keep up. So there's a reason why I complain about the cars not being good enough. These guys are all ecstatic about it. It's because they, as humans, can't keep up with what the cars are even up to. They can't even keep up with the ideas, okay? But anyway, the point is, none of these guys, sorry, I got something in my throat. These guys can't keep up with the fact that General Motors basically dedicated $918 million. All you gotta do is type in $918 million on Google, GM $918 engine, and see what pops up. Then you'll see that General Motors just dedicated, back in 2023, $918 million towards combustion engines development. So do they just all take that to the casino and blow it? Or do they actually do something with it? So let's assume that they did something with it. What would they have had to have done? Let's take Corvette out of the equation for a second, since that's too confusing for you guys. Corvettes are too fast for your minds. Let's instead go to pickup trucks. What about pickup trucks, Brandon? Well, I don't know. Do you guys think that the next generation of pickup trucks are going to be more fuel efficient than the last generation of pickup trucks? Yes or no? Okay, Brandon, fine, yes. Okay, now let's approach it logically further. How are they going to do that? And you say, oh, we have no way of knowing. Oh, you don't have any way of knowing, do you? Well, meanwhile, Stellantis, who owns Chrysler Dodge, okay, they also own Maserati. And I know you guys haven't been paying that close of attention to my posts, but I've explained time and time again that Maserati motor has 2 direct injectors, and therefore it can run really high compressions. And for those of you saying, well, why does it matter? Why do you need 2 direct injectors to run high compressions? Why can't you just have one big direct injector? Because the direct injector tip is filled with fuel, and it's pressurized to crazy PSIs, 3,000, 4,000 PSI, right? And what happens is, if they were to put more holes in the tip of it so it could flow more fuel, then when you're only idling, it wouldn't properly vaporize the fuel. So you need a bottleneck to vaporize the fuel. You can only have so many holes so that the low flow at idle still vaporizes the fuel. Then when you get to higher wide open throttle situations, you bring on the other second direct injector and you inject simultaneously. Now you've cut the time in half to get the fuel in because you have two injectors bringing it in. And you still have your one injector to keep the fuel, you know what I'm saying? You got one injector to idle properly. So that's direct injection. Maserati MC20 has two of them, guys. It's a more efficient motor than anything that General Motors has built as far as turbo motors are concerned or supercharged motors are concerned. So, is General Motors incapable of copying Stellantis? No. What is the answer for more fuel-efficient vehicles? Lots of batteries. $30,000 extra batteries. How about maybe just a couple extra $1,000 in direct injectors instead? So this is what everybody doesn't seem to understand. General Motors has fender vents on the Trailblazer EV on the front. And there's people arguing on the YouTube channel, nuh-uh, there's no Blazers with fender vents. That I explained it's a Trailblazer EV. Nuh-uh, those don't actually function. Okay, the point is General Motors knows how to make them. They've made the indent in the fucking fender. Okay, all they gotta do is cut out the wheel well and make sure there's nothing between point A and point B, and the air can blow out. So we know that General Motors can make a fender vent like the MC20 has. Now with all that said, what else do we know? We know that direct injectors, two of them are coming for the pickup trucks. It's inevitable, guys. So you guys want to sit here and tell me that General Motors is not going to release a double direct injector with front fender vents? King of the Hill Corvette. That's what you guys want me to believe. And you guys want me to believe, here's what Clayton's stance is, guys. Clayton Smith, the guys who runs the Z06 owners group, who banned me from the group. He 30-day banned me for talking about this topic. And he says that he has no influence from the GM insiders. And what the guy's not smart enough to understand is a lot of the people who are telling him to ban me and that they're leaving the group because of me, they're GM insiders. He doesn't understand this. And instead of him be proud of the fact that he has the most advanced fucking Corvette group and defend himself, he sits there and cringes like, oh, Brandon's telling everyone the truth again. Why is he gonna do that? We just want to post pretty pictures. So, and he could repeat the truth peacefully, just like Justin, a horsepower obsessed, could have repeated my truth peacefully. All these guys say I can't repeat the truth peacefully. But what none of these guys know what it's like is to have to go to war to have a fucking conversation because you have everybody attacking you that you deserve to be in the loony bin, which I have full screenshots of, which Clayton has deleted it all. Clayton's deleting the evidence of how nasty these guys are to me as I teach them the truth. I tell them the truth. So the thing is, where are we going with this? I mean, you can't make this up. I feel like I'm in a coma. I really feel like I'm in a coma. This is a bad dream. I don't understand why you guys don't understand how simple this is. You guys honestly think that there's going to be double direct injection pickup trucks. And you say, okay, well, then maybe they'll release a Grand Sport, Brandon. Okay, so maybe they're going to release a Grand Sport. So you guys are telling me that General Motors showed you the zr1 first, and then they're going to say, oh, and by the way, here's the ugly-ass regular plain Jane Grand Sport. Here, buy one of these. You think that's going to happen? No, they've shown you the Grand Sport. The Grand Sport's first. Bye-bye.